So I drink till the night becomes another day, and the day's just another little thing in our way. There's something about the way you beat me down that I'll never learn. You're the pint of no return, the pain in my chest, the stain on your dress, the glass in my eye. But this life is a joke and death is the punch. I
Mothers of Mayhem! Beep beep, kids! Welcome to episode 2 of Mothers of Mayhem, an extreme horror podcast. We cannot believe that you actually came back. You fucking weirdos.
Classic. With every episode, especially this one, and you will find out why soon enough. You need to have all the warnings. We're talking trigger, we're talking content, we're talking spoilers. There will be language used in this episode today that might offend, as well as some topics that might make you uncomfortable. So just be prepared, be forewarned. And we will also be discussing books, so spoilers may be inevitable. Also, I need to make a personal apology for a mistake for last episode. Oh my God, shame. Just like Cersei, baby. Just like Cersei.
Shame!
I talked about how amazing and pissed off Eric Butler's book got me. I didn't tell you the book. Dumb. The book is The Poplick Massacre. So I want to say I'm sorry, Eric. I was a little too excited about your book and I forgot the name.
I'm sure he has already forgiven you.
He probably hasn't. He's probably gonna write my death in his next book and be like, bitch, you deserve this.
I can't think of anything better.
You really know. It's really me just wanting to get in the book.
I would be I would consider that an act of forgiveness, actually.
Right? Like, you are forgiven. Here's your grisly death.
Right. Just end me. I get it.
All right. Now that we have all the fun stuff out of the way, Miss Marian, what do we have going on today?
Oh my God. You're going to make me actually work. Damn it.
Sorry. I apologize.
Damn it.
I apologize for the inconvenience.
Well, all right, fine. We are going to have the absolute privilege of sharing our space and time with 2 of modern extreme horror's best, and I guess we could say brightest.
Yet to be determined.
I'm sorry I laughed so hard. Extreme Horror's best and brightest authors. We got Sean Hawker and Matt Clarke, and we actually can hardly contain ourselves with the excitement of it. They were so impressed with our first episode that they harassed us incessantly and desperately begged us to be on our show. And all of those words that I just said right there were absolutely true. And
every one of them.
Absolutely. And Sean and Matt were definitely not the only ones gracious enough to be the first to subject themselves to this torture gauntlet that we call a podcast.
No, not at all. Ever.
These suckers.
Right?
Oh, Mama C. Shall we tell the children a little bit about Sean and Matt?
Ugh.
I mean, we could always leave them hanging.
We could be like, there's some guys.
They're gonna find out.
They really are. All right, let's start with Sean.
Oh, all right.
Sean has written 1 book of short stories, which actually we will be speaking about today, 3 novelettes, and 2 co-written novellas with Simon McCarty. And they also write Ultra Smut under the pseudonym Filthy Swine on Smashwords. So look them up on Smashwords under Filthy Swine. You will not be disappointed.
Yes. Christina and I have had some sneak peeks, and
it's interesting. It's church. It makes me want to go to church, guys. And I don't. So they're interesting. They're just the titles alone will make your day.
Yeah.
So Sean lives in, you know what? I'm going to butcher this. Can you do it?
I think it's Gloucestershire.
Close enough.
I think it's Gloucestershire, England that he's in.
He lives in England.
Yeah.
Let's not get
England or something. I don't know.
So he lives in England with his daughter and his girlfriends, and they currently reside in a Austrian-inspired basement dungeon. So that's a win for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
He has 2 cats and a tortoise who is in hibernation. He makes sure to tell everyone and their mother that this turtle is in hibernation. He also likes to send us pictures of elderly men wearing lingerie. We have the proof. And is described by most people who meet him as giving them a feeling of general unease.
I say that's true.
In a nutshell. Sean Hawker. Actually, you know what's really funny is this guy is one of the sweetest people to interact with, which is absolutely
he really
hilarious.
is. We just like to give him a hard time because he likes to give us a hard time. So you get what you give.
Oh,
kid.
You guys have no idea. I even told Marian, I was like, they're gonna do everything in their power to fuck with us. I just feel it.
And you guys might recognize Sean's name because I did include one of his books in my top 10 of 2021 from last episode. One of my all-time favorite books is The Captive Dwarf, also known as Die You Effing See You Next Tuesdays. The C word.
You're gonna hear the C word a lot. They're from England.
Yeah,
so
they're from England. So
inevitable.
if the C word is a big trigger thing for you,
we'll see you in episode 3.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
We'll see you in episode 3, guys. We're good. We're cool.
What's your favorite book from Sean?
Actually, it's Insane Ideas Decaying in a
I just read that one. It was so freaking good.
The short story Flags. Yes. So that is absolutely, without a doubt.
And the really great one about that is that the stories, when we say short stories, we're talking a maximum 4 to 5 pages per tale.
Yeah. I think the longest one is 8 pages, but it's bigger print. So
and totally available very affordably for download through godless.com.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
And I think you can even get the paperback for $5, maybe $5-6. I think that's what I paid.
Yeah. Through the Amazon. Probably. Or directly through Sean. Although if you're in the United States, you're going to have to pay that dreaded international shipping. So gross. Well, hey, let me tell you a little bit about Matt.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Matthew A. Clarke. So Matt Clarke, he loves weird, and he is weird. He's written 2 novels, 3 novellas, all of which are the best books I've ever read and likely ever will. If you ever meet him, you will understand why there has been a recent wave of men getting plastic surgery to look like him, and a whole horde of women who have been repeatedly smashing their faces against the walls of his home to try to be close to him.
If you guys aren't seeing this on CNN, what are you doing?
Then I don't know where you've been. Is your head under a rock? Because Matt Clarke is an icon, and I want to tattoo his face over my own. He also threatened to fly to the United States and murder my entire family if I didn't tell you these things. So someone call the police.
Blink twice. Blink twice if you need help. Blink twice. She blinked way too many times.
So my personal favorite read from Matthew A. Clarke is a book called Mr. Tinkles.
Right? Oh my God.
So Mr. Tinkles is a short story about a murderous supernatural being who comes to punish little boys who don't aim properly when they're using the toilet. And as the mother of a tiny man child, this was a very cathartic and enjoyable reading experience.
It really is. It's really.
Have 100. You got a favorite one?
Oh,
from our sweet Matthew.
And it's funny because I literally just finished it.
Tell them about this.
Things were easier before you became a giant fucking mantis. So this story, I don't know why I had put this off. But this book is so saturated in social commentary that I am going to go back, reread it, and highlight and underline and do all of that, because it is one of the books. It's about a man who marries a mantis. So like, there's some mantis sex. Human sex.
There is. But like, I think BIZARRO is one of our subgenres that doesn't, it's kind of like on the outskirts. It doesn't get as much attention from people because you really have to be able to engage in that suspension of disbelief, be okay with like an alternate universe in which like just absolutely surreal things are happening. But BIZARRO is, I think, where you're going to get the best and greatest social commentary from some of these extreme horror novels. Also, if you love Carlton Mellick, you will love Mantis. And also for any of you who are nutso butso book annotators, like Christina just said, you could probably write your high school thesis, the English thesis on this one, kid.
Oh, I'm going to up that. I'm saying that this book is a master's thesis level.
It absolutely could be, because there are so many different social issues that he highlights in this, all under the guise of this crazy story where some dude marries a girl who turns into a giant bug.
There's even, guys, if I can't get you to want to pick this up just based off of all of this, there is like oral sex with a mantis. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
how are you not picking this up already?
If you are not intrigued at this point, then what are you doing here?
We're going to need you to go and listen to Nicholas Sparks. And, this isn't for you. Yeah.
Go back to your rom-coms. This is not the place for you.
This isn't for you, Karen. Get off.
Yeah. No Karens allowed.
And that's when we got our first hate email. My name is Karen.
I'm sorry, Karen. We weren't talking about you specifically.
We were. Secretly.
If you really want to get back at us, you should send Christina dildos.
Every goddamn
DM me on the Book of Face, and I'll make sure you get her mailing address.
Right. My husband is God. My poor kids.
On that note, we should probably let these weirdos in here and talk with them, huh?
Godspeed to all of us.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, Christ almighty. Here we go, kids. Oh my God, look at this. Who are these people, Christina? Who are these people?
These guys.
Holy
these
shit.
Guys. I know. Shock and awe. It's like we just got George Bushed.
Oh my God.
We've got Sean and we've got Matt with us.
Hello.
Yeah. Which one is which?
The one that says Sean Hawker.
At this point, I'm not quite sure.
Well, for our people who are listening instead of seeing, let them hear, identify thyself so that they know whose voice belongs to whom.
Okay.
Special.
Right. Yeah, fair enough, mate. So as you could probably see from the left-hand lower corner of the screen, I'm Sean. I don't know what you'll probably know me for.
They're gonna know you for a lot soon. Who are you?
Who, me?
Yeah, like what do you do?
Okay. Just someone who happened to write some quite horrible shit, and people seem to have liked it for some reason.
It is really horrible, and you know what? Christina and I love it.
Oh, good.
And
Good.
girls.
That's all that matters.
We think it's fantastic. And after running some analytics, I think it's very important to note for both of you gentlemen that even over on the Tiki Takis on the Clarke app, almost 90% of the fan base is female. So whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Yeah.
Not very much.
Who's this other guy?
Hi, I'm Matt, obviously. Started off writing horror, but kind of just fell into BIZARRO and find I kind of prefer it more. It's a bit more, you can have a bit more fun with it, really, and that suits my personality.
We were just really talking up BIZARRO and how we feel like it's one of the more fringe subgenres within that extreme horror umbrella, and that people are really missing out because you have, of course, a natural talent for writing BIZARRO, but there's so much more room for like the social commentary and the really important social commentary to happen. And I think hopefully by the end of this episode, people will go and they'll start seeking this stuff out because it's amazing and wild, and it really gets you thinking.
They said seek out Matt.
Yes, but you could just ignore Sean because his stuff's just gonna make you throw up. So unless you like that, then by all
then what's wrong with you? Seek help.
Yeah.
We'll have numbers at the end of the program.
DM me. I am a mental health professional. I can try to help you.
There you go.
I think at some point this call is going to descend into a sort of counseling session.
You know what? It's so much better than what we were expecting.
And maybe we can get to the root of why I write what I do.
Well, I think that's a part of what is about to happen. Christina, give them an idea of what is about to occur.
Some skeletons are going to come out of the closet, I feel.
Yep.
No, don't worry. No skeletons.
Yeah.
No skeletons. But Sean, you're actually going to be our first question.
Okay.
You've become pretty notorious for your over-the-top, extreme collaborations with Simon McCarty.
Oh, Simon.
How did that unholy alliance, or as we like to say, bromance, Eiffel Towering us, did that become? How'd that come about?
Well, it's kind of like my sort of dirty, funny uncle in a way.
The uncle that has to register.
He meets all of those qualifications, like 100%.
Yeah. No, it was a pretty innocuous start, really. He just got in touch with me one day out of the blue while after he'd read The Captive Dwarf to say that he liked it, and would I be interested in collaborating on something at some point. And that was really it.
How did you feel? How did you feel having him reach out to you that way?
Yeah, quite surprised, because up to that point, I hadn't read really anything that you could consider extreme horror or splatterpunk apart from Mother Maggot. And so he was probably the author that I ideally wanted to have read The Captive Dwarf.
Yeah.
And when I found out that he did, it was almost like a pang of fear inside me, just in case he didn't like it. So it was a nice surprise that, he enjoyed it as much as he did.
Did you open up that message box expecting to see, "Oi, you suck"?
Yeah.
Yes, but look at everything that's come from it since. Some of some of my all-time favorite reads from this past year were by you guys. Now, I've read everything that you've written by yourself. And I have read all of your McCarty collabs except for the Filthy Swine stuff, because as Christina and I say, we are book stressed.
Yeah.
But I will get there.
Eventually.
Don't feel obligated to read that stuff.
Oh no, just the titles alone is obligation, friend.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think we can actually say them on the podcast. Delightful.
I don't know.
Well, there'll be a link that people can go to, I'm sure.
Oh, there will be.
Check it out for themselves.
Oh, don't worry. I'll put it on my Facebook. I'll put it on my Facebook, and like everyone on my Facebook will be like, I can't be her friend anymore.
Yeah,
like,
I expect that will happen.
Excitement. Just less people I have to deal with. All right. What's Mr. Matt's first?
Matt. Like we mentioned before, at this point in your career, you're considered a pretty, I would say, seasoned author of bizarro horror. What really drew you to focus on that particular subgenre?
Well, I mean, I've only been writing it for like a year, really, so I'm not sure I'd call myself seasoned, but I kind of just, it flows out of me more than anything else does. So I obviously discovered Carlson Melick and a few of the other guys, and I was like, what the hell is this stuff? Like, this is my kind of work. But I love horror, and you get the horror with it. You get comedy, gross out, and just obviously fucking weird. And it's just, that's just me all over, really. I can just, there's no rules. You just write what you want, as long as it's a good story. Plenty of weirdness, fucked up sex, if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we did discuss the mantis.
We did. I actually specifically talked about the mantis-human oral sex scenes. Because I really feel like, to me, to me, that was, who needs Shakespeare when I could read about oral sex with a mantis?
Yeah, so, well, I just thought, if you were going to do something like that, how would that work?
Exactly. And I thought that was kind of interesting. That, I mean, it made sense.
Yeah.
In a really
I mean,
weird
a lot of
way.
bizarro seems to just kind of get an idea and roll with it. And a lot of it doesn't make sense. But with my stuff, I keep it weird, but I also try and make it plausible as well. So, like, if my girlfriend turned into a mantis and we still wanted to have a child, how could that possibly work? Like, how does the anatomy work together? Still kinds of weird shit like that. And obviously I tried to draw on racism a bit in that book as well, which I wasn't really planning on doing when I started out, but it kind of fell into place quite easily. And yeah, I tried to get my own sort of opinions through without making it too obvious and shoving it in your face, sort of thing.
Right, which is actually another question that we had was, I guess we'll just go into it because this is actually for both of you. Is the common thread with both, especially when you work with McCarty, Sean, is the social commentary. Now, is that it always meant to be, or does it kind of evolve with the book? And this is for both of you guys.
I mean, the world is horrible. So, like...
Yeah, I mean, I just hate everyone, so it's a good excuse to pick a type of person I hate and fuck them up, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Lovely.
But that makes sense. That you can't go out and beat up all these people, but you can kill them off.
I mean, we could, if we all four joined forces and met
I'm
somewhere,
lazy. I'm the last person.
We could stomp some Nazis. Like, I feel really confident that the four of us as a team, like, we would fuck shit up.
Yes.
You can be our eyes in the sky, Christina.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
as long as I can have like a soda and like a ho-ho at the same time, I'm your gal. I'm your gal.
Gun hand now. I'm ready. Oh yeah, like half of our audience can't even see that while my fingers are in a split. They're like, she has a what? What the fuck is this podcast?
Right. It devolved in the first one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is now.
So yes,
about
in
you,
terms
Sean?
of that question, that question.
Sorry.
I don't know. I think probably a bit of both. I think the social commentary aspect, anyway, it probably comes from the same subconscious place where a lot of the humor comes from as well. It's probably just stuff that I just happen to be interested that somehow finds its way into the writing organically. We really don't spend a lot of time sort of analyzing things like that, but you just find on reading the stuff back that it somehow managed to worm its way in there. So it's probably just the stuff that we happen to be interested in more or less most of the time. I don't know if that's the same with Matt.
Yeah, well, I mean, my first book was Coffin Dodgers, and that was about superhuman elderly. I deal with a lot of old people in my job, and you know, I love old people, but it can be very frustrating. So I kind of noticed there were certain types of people, and I thought, if this person got superpowers, so like, what would their superpower be, sort of thing. So I tried to make a bit of fun out of it, and, you know. And then obviously with the mantis one, I just thought, fuck racism, sort of thing. Just yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, it really came out at a time too when there's a lot of social and cultural turmoil around racism in both of our countries.
I was going to say,
it's things that had happened within the past year. So you couldn't have written it at a better time, quite honestly.
No, I mean,
I think that's what I mean in terms of how you're writing. It just happens to be informed organically by the stuff that you're exposed to daily, you know.
Yeah, it's all subconscious. Everything I've written has come from something I've seen or heard, and I kind of put a weird twist on it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you find that, and sorry, this was not on our page, but now I'm just generally interested in knowing, especially for you, Sean, because your books have a lot more overt violence, gore than I would say Matt's books do. Do you find the writing of these things to personally be cathartic for you? Is it like a good way for you to be like, fuck the world, and just like create havoc on the page?
Well, there is a spirit of anarchy about writing, I think. It doesn't come from a place of anger. It's more of a joke to me. You know, I try and construct these things like some sort of long form joke, where almost like the violence is the punchline.
That's part of our theme song.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Could not have done that better. Life is the joke, death is the punchline.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, amigo, the devil.
Right.
And also because I find the violence, or writing the violence, funny anyway, you know, in a kind of sort of Tom and Jerry sort of way, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But no, it doesn't come from a place of anger.
Now that is
or misanthropy or anything like that.
Yeah, see, I find that interesting too.
I do too.
I would think that it would be like a cathartic, like you had a bad day at work, and
not at all.
You know, Sally, you know, running her damn mouth all the time. Let's kill her off, you know.
No, I have a very sort of boring middle class life.
Oh, nice.
So maybe that in itself is why it's cathartic. But no, it's just something I find quite fun to write.
It's a twisted sense of humor.
Yeah, that's so fascinating to me, because you know, when I'm in a bad mood or something, I'm like, if I could only run this bitch over. Like, I have good car insurance for a reason. Like, that's one of my big statements that I say all the time. Like, we have insurance for a reason. But yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
My mind always
We're learning
goes to murder.
Yeah, I do too.
I think a lot of people are actually going to be quite disappointed when they find out I'm not some
that
sort
you're
of
really happy. And like, life is great. And
yeah.
like, my life could not be fucking better, guys.
Yeah, like I love babies and puppies and kittens.
Old people, everything. I love it all.
Yeah, we love the old people.
I like rain and, but I don't think you like cold. So I think we got you there. Come to Alaska for a little while. Let's see if you don't write about, killing moose and have that come from catharsis.
You guys keep going. I have to deal with a small person. I'll be right back.
Oh, so you need to deal with this.
Keep it moving.
I'll keep it moving. So going back to the social commentary, I really that's my big thing. That's what I look for. I don't read a book to enjoy a book. I just can't. I look for something that affects me. So like I had just read Things Were Easier, Matt. And I actually found an interesting commentary on university and healthcare system. And it was just really small, just like shitty healthcare system. And it's funny because it happens here. We our universities are a joke. It's more like, you can wipe your ass with your degree and it's worth more than just the degree. And then everybody knows about the American healthcare system. I mean, I don't think we need to, go into that. So I thought that was really interesting. Oh,
yeah,
you're muted.
Yeah.
Leonard. I think she's trying to chit-chat.
I never say anything of importance anyways, honestly. So
I'm the one always quiet. But no, and then with Neil and the Gwyneth Paltrow kind of feel, like the celebrity worship. So many people, especially here, have these weird boners for celebrities. And it just I never understood it. I'm like, who gives two shits what these people are doing? Let's focus. But I'm not.
It's satire more than anything, isn't it? I think, and I think a lot of the best sort of comedy writing, especially, has that sort of satirical bent to it, and that's what Simon and I tend to try and aspire to. I think, and I see that in Matt's writing as well.
Oh yeah, and it definitely is satire, and that's what makes it so fun. But it also has such an underlying truth to everything too, that I just. I think that's my favorite. So that's why I love reading you guys, is because I get my little, I get my hit of social commentary and still get, because there's a lot of people who are like, you say social commentary and they're like, I don't want to read that. Well, but why? So
and I'm sure there are a lot of authors as well that could go really into a lot of depth with regards to this. Whereas the way I approach writing anyway is it's about just entertaining people. I'm not really aspiring to be some great arty-farty fancy artist that people are going to revere. I just want people to buy the book and enjoy themselves for a couple of hours, and that's the job done, really.
Yeah.
He's been doing it very well so far.
He's been doing okay from what I hear.
I think both Christina and I went through a major reread of all of you guys' books over the last week, and it was just I didn't reread any of the McCarty collaborations because I was really just more hyper focused on what you yourself have.
Fuck
said.
that guy.
But yeah, screw him.
Poor Simon.
Whatever. But it was even though I had already read these things, I had such a good time going through them again. And that's huge because I just read most of your books within the 3 months, the last 3 months. So the fact that I could go back and read them now in such a short period of time and have just as good a time as I did the first time around. Holy shit. That speaks volumes, honestly. Just so fucking good.
Good.
Mr. Matt Clarke, I just read Grin and Sweet Tooth last night. And I have TikTok reviews waiting for them, but holy shit!
She's a little excited.
Those are two I hadn't read yet, and oh my god! Like, people, like these are they're nice short reads, but there's so much in there, and they're so different. Oh, I had such a good time.
Those finger guns are gonna.
No,
I'm starting to get worried for everyone in her house.
Hey, both of those short stories, the ones that I've been sort of sitting on for a while from when I was writing horror, and Grin especially, I've probably edited about 10 times at least, and each time I've done it, it's got slightly weirder. I found as my writing's changed over time, and yeah, I did submit it for an anthology a while back, and it didn't get accepted, so I just thought, well, I'm just going to publish it myself then. That's what I did.
I don't.
I'm sorry.
really
Who's
understand.
publishing? Do we need to burn down? Say that. Okay.
Yeah, DM
No
me
names.
later. 'Cause,
Jeez.
I
I'm down
wake
for
up
felony.
every day. I wake up and choose violence. So you just let me know.
I already have a record, so you know.
But I really, honestly, I mean, I don't know all the details. I don't know what the like theme of the anthology was or whatever. Blah blah blah. But my own personal experience with that short story, like I don't understand. Like I don't get it. And if you are going to edit it again and change anything else, please can you just like send like make sure I know.
Well, now
Same
I've
with you.
published them
Same
both.
with you, Hawker. If you ever like change something and like it's different now, like
The remix, the remaster.
get it.
Yeah, they're published now, so I won't be doing any more editing. But the Mantis one, I was considering changing the title and the cover, just so I can actually advertise it, because at the moment it's in
Yeah.
the dungeon and nobody sees it at all. And the people that have read it have said how much they've enjoyed it. And
Oh
you know,
yeah.
maybe if I could change the title so it might attract a bigger audience or something.
All you
Oh,
really
because-
need to do is
because
take
there's
that
blood on the
one
cover.
word out. That's all.
Yeah,
you
that
gotta
as
do.
well.
That's
But
right.
Amazon is so strict with their adverts.
Yeah.
So obviously it has fucking on the
Bezos.
cover. Yeah, fucking Bezos.
Next time he
Um,
launches himself into
It's
space,
it's
I
literally
hope he doesn't.
it's what they call the dungeon. It's just
Yeah.
hidden in their listings and nobody can find it.
Well, that's
So-
where my dildo is a serial killer is currently as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
I'm
Could probably get rid
honestly
of that.
shocked that you both have not been banned for those titles, considering that other people in the community like Rain Havoc, like
Mhm.
her title wasn't even like overtly vulgar or sexual in any way. It was just the content of the story.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You're out."
Yeah,
There's
there's a
some
high
messed
degree of
up.
arbitrariness to it, I think.
There is, and it's fucking,
Like the weird. I was
gross.
talking to Sean the other day, saying like the type of erotica you find on Amazon these days, and the covers, all the boobs out and everything, and that's absolutely fine with them. But stick a
Mhm.
swear word on there in the dungeon.
Mm,
right?
Yeah.
It
Which is
makes
so
absolutely
weird.
No sense.
Mm.
Do you find you get much better sales through Godless?
Yes and no. Some
Yeah,
of my
I'd
books
say.
do better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
short-
I don't
the
think a
short
lot of
stuff
people know about
is-
it yet. That's one of the big things. It's like a
Yeah.
lot of people who are out here looking for your content aren't
Mhm.
finding it because they
Mhm.
automatically assume Amazon is their place to go.
Yeah.
And they don't
Yeah.
know that there are other resources where they can affordably like get this stuff that they're after.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, that's very true.
Now, Matt already has a TikTok. Hawker, you have a TikTok?
No. no.
Oh, now see?
I was very late to the Facebook party, and it's the only form of social media that I do.
Wow, we might have to chat later.
I only have a TikTok because of Marian, and my daughter likes to watch the videos of them doing crystal packaging.
There's a lot of weird stuff on there.
There
I mean,
is, but you know what?
I don't do all
your
that.
stuff is weird, and TikTok loves weird. So
Mhm.
and plus it's a hub for a lot of the younger generations, but they are out here looking for your stuff.
Yeah.
They are searching for you guys. They just don't realize you're the ones that they're looking for. So the more engagement we get on platforms where those younger generations are actively seeking out this content, the more exposure you get. So I'm like a big, like, you don't even have to make your own content. As long as you've got a profile with a link that you want them to follow to go buy your books, reviewers like myself and other people will link you in those videos, and they go to your profile and straight to buy your book.
Well, when I actually can't stand TikTok. I barely use it. But the reason I made it was to promote BIZARRO as a genre rather than my own stuff.
Yes.
I haven't really put any of mine on there. So my name is Read More BIZARRO, in case anyone wants to look it up.
I already added you.
Just do my top BIZARRO books, very short reviews of BIZARRO books I've read. And yeah, I'm just trying to get it to a bigger audience. And as you say, there's mainly a younger crowd there. Like,
oh yeah,
obviously not young, but like teenage. If I can
and
get
you know,
that
the
to
crazy
there,
thing is that the people, like we said before, the
You
people
laughing
who
at
are
Hawker.
really looking for this stuff are
I could just see you as
females.
using it as a platform to groom people.
I knew what he was thinking. That's why I
think-
started giggling.
Well, you can groom them to the ways of extreme horror. I'm certainly
why I
doing
don't
my
use
best.
my real name.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that this wasn't your real name. Now I feel like I don't know you.
Fancy.
Well, it worked.
Oh,
I found Marian.
Well, I think it's kind of the idea of, like the professor and even RJ Benetti. That's not his real name.
Yeah, no.
You know, you guys have jobs outside of what you do, and you know, someone looks you up and you're like, hey, this guy works here.
Yeah, I don't particularly care about that.
Oh.
I definitely understand.
Sally
that
in accounting
fear.
will leave you alone from now on.
Fuck them, yeah.
I definitely understand that fear. I get it.
I can definitely see it from both angles though. Like, I can see it from both angles where, you know, it doesn't, you're comfortable with where you're at, and, you know, and then, hey, I want a little bit of, you know, I want a little bit of private life. So I see both. And now I just feel like I don't know Matt Clarke anymore.
I'm left alone quite a lot of the time.
Yeah,
I don't have any stalkers. So.
I'm certain that level of anonymity is rather comforting too, though, because then you don't have to worry about people who start to get a little bit obsessive, for lack of a better term. Because some of those people are just a little bit more off kilter, and they could really be up in your business all the time. Christina.
Rude. My stalking is very, it's very lazy. Like, you know, maybe if I was in my 20s, I would put forth more of an effort, but now I'm like, I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. I don't care. Like,
exactly.
You young whippersnappers.
Are writers the rock stars that they used to be? I mean, I don't think they are.
I wouldn't say so, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, and
I've
that's
got a
really
very
sad.
small following, and there's no crazies so far.
The world, you know, the world is changing, but I think you guys have also focused in on a key factor in being successful, is that our current society and the people who are looking for reads are people who have grown up with social media, YouTube. We want fast, quick, easy gratification. And I know you both had mentioned just recently that, like, a place like Godless for digital downloads, what you're selling most of all is your shorts. Short stories.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because people like the accessibility of a great story they can read while they're on the bus for 20 minutes. Still get everything that their brain wanted right then and right there. I'm hoping that tide will start turning again.
Yes.
Especially as more and more people start reviewing these books on social media platforms and saying, if you haven't read this longer title, you're really missing out. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen a few. The Colson Mellick's The Haunted Vagina seems to be doing the rounds again at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's
isn't
quite
that
an old book.
funny? The
Yeah,
way that
yeah.
things come back
Yeah.
around.
I'm seeing it everywhere, and it's great.
Yeah.
For the genre.
All it takes is one person with a very strong following to review that book, and then all of a sudden, boom!
Yeah, it's just
Everybody's
everywhere.
talking about it again.
But on the flip side of that is there's so much content now that it is very, very hard to establish yourself as a writer that gains, more than a minimal following. I mean, it's very rare, I think.
Yeah.
Along those lines, do you, even if it's not like at the forefront of your consciousness, do you ever find yourself tempted to try and like push your boundaries even further with the next book? Like, okay, this last one was really fucked up. I've got to take it up a notch. I have to keep exceeding my own expectations of what my limits are. Do you feel that pressure, or are you really just focused in on writing whatever you feel like writing and just enjoying the opportunity to do it?
To a certain degree, yes. But like Matt pointed out, you have to deal with the censorship of Amazon, which limits to an extent what you write or can write about.
Yeah.
And also, it kind of gets a bit boring as well, I find. It's more fun to go in a completely different direction and try something that you haven't written before.
Keep going.
Yeah, so I kind of feel that, yes, to a certain degree, it is good to try and push your boundaries just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to like weigh up whether or not it's worth the effort, because are you going to sell, books to a certain degree that you're going to sort of make a profit on it and it be worth sort of the effort of writing it in the first place? Maybe not. So there are these sort of questions that do arise before you actually undertake any project, I feel. And it really is just a matter of, I think, ultimately writing what you want to write and then just hoping that it finds an audience and really going from there. That's why we don't really plan too far ahead in terms of what we want to write,
Yeah.
It's usually one project at a time.
That answer was actually a beautiful lead in to like the last question we have on our list.
Right. This is all very unintentional.
I know, but it was perfect because we wanted to ask both of you. And we know that you've both kind of settled into a comfort zone within the different subgenres of extreme horror, but are there any others under that umbrella that you are interested in exploring more as an author?
Yeah, I don't know if Matt, you want to answer first.
Very short answer is no. Main reason I started writing was just for my own pleasure, because I'd always wanted to write a book, and it seemed like such a monumental task that I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to do it. And after writing, well, there was the COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
So I was off work for several months, and I thought, if now is not the perfect time, this is never going to happen. So that's what I did. I wrote Coffin Dodgers, and then it was hard. It was a drag. But when I had it finished and in my hands, it was such a good feeling that I started on my second book straight away. And like, for me, it's never been about the money or the audience or anything. It's just for me, really, and for like-minded people, because I've got a few BIZARRO friends who love all this kind of stuff as well in the groups. And, if it never gets any bigger than that, then I'm still happy, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really the genre that one would probably write in if you wanted to make millions of pounds doing it, you know.
No, I mean, realistically,
you've got to find another reason to do it, I think.
Yeah,
and,
like you said earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, in my case, it's just to put a bit of entertainment out there, and no, that's good enough for me.
So, like you said earlier, the market is so saturated.
It is. Yeah.
You can't go in hoping to make a lot of money from it and have overnight success. It just doesn't happen anymore. Like there's a lot of shit out there as well, which puts a lot of readers off stuff that isn't published by like the top 5 publishers or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough and it's not going to be for everyone. But if you like what you're doing, I'd just say keep at it, really. As long as you're enjoying yourself, which is what I do. So
yeah, exactly. It's a kind of cerebral exercise for me, you know, being able to create what I think is a real sort of connection with someone else just through words, essentially. I mean, how cool is that?
Well, the other beautiful thing about this genre that I have found is just your accessibility as people.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I first started my thing that I do, I would get so nervous seeking you guys out and just dropping a link. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm just some like crazy person. But
well, I did it first. But...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rightfully so. But the supportive nature of the community has been to like, I'm going to celebrate you because you're celebrating me, vice versa. Like it's all for people who write and enjoy such completely batshit fucked up shit. It is one of the nicest peer groups I have ever been
without a doubt
into.
Yeah.
You are all absolute gems.
For anyone
which is
watching,
what makes it, and it makes it so much more enjoyable. Quite honestly,
I'd say for anyone watching that hasn't already discovered the Books of Horror group on Facebook,
oh yeah,
I'd say go and check it out because I've met so many nice people through there, and like you say, you might not expect it, but some of the nicest people ever. I've never seen an argument. Made loads of friends there.
Yeah.
I think I met Christina there actually.
Yeah, because I actually
did I meet you there, Matt? I can't remember.
You probably did. Yeah.
That was the first place I landed. That was how I started finding that I could actually get in contact with all of you and be like, hey, I made this thing for you about you. I'm sorry.
and then I started on Books of Horror by doing written reviews, and I got I started out writing love letters to Simon McCarty.
Yeah, I remember.
About how he cursed my family, and you know.
I love how Sean's like, yeah, I remember that.
Sean's like, I remember you. You fucking psycho.
I remember that.
But you know, I got to have fun, and I found this like tribe that I didn't even know I was missing because you know just a lot of times I'll read, you know, I read everything but rom-coms. I mean, I'll read literary fiction, I read classics, I read everything. And I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. And then I found this group, and don't worry, she can't hear anything. I found this group and they were just so accepting of me.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have been amazing. We have just put you through the ringer. So we're going to give you a little bit of a break. We're going to pop into the ad zone. So we will be back shortly. Okay, bye. Hey kids, looking for a way to affordably access the best and wildest independent extreme horror currently in existence? Godless Horrors is the place to be.
Go to www.godless.com to gain access to thousands of extreme horror and splatterpunk books from the genre's best and brightest independent authors. Godless Horrors offers every title in their catalog in a variety of formats to ensure compatibility with your favorite digital reading device. Strapped for cash? No worries. Godless has a fantastic collection of free titles ready for instant download, with other titles in their collection rarely exceeding $3 to $4. Again, go to www.godless.com or download the app and tell them what the fuck you're looking for. Come join the Godless tribe today. Forever delightfully deviant. Forever godless.
Matthew A. Clarke almost just got kicked off of this episode because he just terrorized us with a picture of Blippi. And you know what? The absolute audacity.
And we
have been nothing but nice to you.
Wait,
and it wasn't just a standard picture of Blippi either. It was quite a sordid picture. I'm not quite sure where he sourced it from.
Well, Sean's face photoshopped into it.
No, those are memes you can send me all day, every day, and I will never stop laughing.
Oh my God. Hey, Tyrion, why don't you draw this Blippi? My 7-year-old, he draws Blippi.
Look at this Blippi. He's the handsomest Blippi. No, we're not. We don't need to talk about Blippi. Well, for that torment, now you get to deal with the rapid fire 4 questions.
The rapid 4.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's very simple. 4 questions, 4 answers, 0 time to think ahead. We need an answer very quickly, or you will face
certain death.
The firing squad.
Yes, basically. I'm sorry. Like every time I have an opportunity to throw in a reference from Jim Henson's Labyrinth, I can't stop myself.
You have to. All right. Are you guys ready for your first question?
Let's do
Are we answering together, or is it?
No, we'll pick one of you to go first, and then whoever goes, you're both going to answer. Whoever goes first has to go second next time. So you're both going to get in the hot seat. At least twice.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we'll start with Sean, just because I like going left to right. Okay. All right. Which of your characters do you identify with the most, and why?
Oh, good question. I'd probably say Les.
Now tell the people more about Les, just in case they haven't read that book. And also, I am horrified.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I said it just to shock more than anything else because the lack of time. But I like his dry sense of humor. He is the one of the main antagonists from the captive dwarf. What he actually does to that captive dwarf, I won't give away, but he does it with a very peculiar sense of humor, I feel, anyway. And that's probably why I identify with him. And also because I can't really remember any of the other characters that I've written.
That's the problem. I can never remember what I've actually written.
I don't actually read any of these books after they've been published.
And yet these characters are very real living beings to us who read them.
Yeah. But once they're out in the public domain, you know, they're everybody else's.
It's on to the next book. Yeah.
Can you think of any character, Matt, that you would relate to most?
Yeah, it would be Jacob Bobby from the Mantis book, because out of all of my characters, he's probably got closest to my sense of humor, and I put myself in his position a lot of the time when I was writing that book, and thought, what would I do in this situation? Whereas with Coffin Dodgers or The Second Coming, it's just, I don't know where that stuff came from.
Well, it's a lot of sort of really good world building in those two.
Oh yeah,
Especially very impressive. Yeah.
Coffin Dodgers was my first book that I read from you, and you guys have been aware of me long enough to know that the extreme horror stuff was really where I was focused. And Coffin Dodgers was like way out of my usual comfort zone, but I just loved it so much because of the characters and the world building and the story that it just really pulled me in. And I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm down. This is great. And I think it was your first book that I actually reviewed. That was my start with BIZARRO, and I haven't stopped since.
No, it's great. See, that's one new person who may not have heard of it before that's now reading BIZARRO.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So you're going to go second. You're going to be first for this second question. So what book already published by someone else do you wish you had written?
God. Let me just look at my bookshelf.
That's all right.
Cheating is allowed. Cheating is allowed.
I'm not very good at being put on the spot. I think I'll probably have to say Mousetrap, though, by Carlson Melick.
That's a good book. Good book.
Because although out of all of his books, it's one of the ones that isn't mentioned very often. But for me, it's one of my favourites. I think if you haven't read it, you'll probably enjoy it as well, because it's got a lot of extreme gore in it and deaths. But it's basically set in a theme park, and the kids are trying to survive, and everyone else is dead, but everything around them's booby traps. And yeah, a lot of people die in very gory ways. And like, I've thought several times I wish I could have, well, I still could try and write something like that. But
I have that in my
it's so good.
My list of books to acquire, but now I'm gonna have to bump it up the
It's
list
one of my
because I
favorites
didn't
of all
really
time.
know that. My first Melick was Stacking Doll, and I actually read it after I read Mantis, and I think I enjoyed it because I had already been introduced to that similar concept through your book. But one of the things that stands out about both of those stories is the underlying theme of learning to love someone for who they are at the core of their being, and what it means to do whatever you need to do to take care of that person that you love so deeply, which is really, these crazy surreal stories, but at the heart of it, it's just like, this is about love and being human and learning to love other humans.
Well, I probably took influence from him, and Jeff Strand wrote a book called Blister. I don't know if you've read that.
No.
That's also in that similar kind of vein, with like a very deformed woman, and the main character is going to start off as a dare, like knocking on her window and taking the mick out of her. But I won't spoil it in case no one's read it, but it's a really good book.
Amazing. Sean, what about you?
So are we talking specifically extreme horror?
No. It
Nope.
can be anything.
It could be anything.
It could be any book.
Mhm.
For me, then it would probably be Crime and Punishment.
Really? I
Yeah.
am very interested in hearing the rationale behind this.
Well, it is a classic, and it's a book that really taps into the conflicts of the human psyche, and it really is, there's so much in that book that it's almost hard to describe what it is about it which makes it so great, but that everyone should just read it, because there's a sense of like the struggles of what it is to be human that sort of runs throughout it. But if we're talking about splatter, then I'll just have to say Mother Maggot, because that book is fearless.
Oh my God.
It really is.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have bothered trying to publish The Captive Wolf had I not read that book, because I just wouldn't assume that there would have been an audience for it. But when I did read Mother Maggot, and I saw that he had a very similar sense of humor to myself, it was almost as if it was a kind of relief to find it in a way. And so because of Mother Maggot, I ended up actually just going ahead and publishing myself. So yeah, Crime and Punishment or Mother Maggot, either one.
That's such a spectrum.
Two different ends on the continuum.
Yeah.
I do have a question real quick about Crime and Punishment. In the United States here, for a lot of our like high school grades, secondary school, it's required reading. Like your junior or senior year, you have to read Crime and Punishment, and you do, well, at least in my school, we did a variety of projects based on the story. Is this required reading for your educational system in the UK?
Not
I've
for
never
me,
read it.
no.
How interesting. That's fascinating to me.
But it's interesting that you mentioned it as required reading, especially when earlier you talked about how we're very much at a time when people who read essentially are more likely to read sort of short fiction where the appeal is more immediate and almost doesn't take like the same amount of effort that a literary classic like Dostoevsky would take to read.
Right.
It's almost like the antithesis of what one would actually want to read if you happen to be in high school now.
Yes. Now, when I had to read
Quite
it,
interesting.
that was 1997.
Mhm.
So I am 41 years old. So I'm a true like Gen Xer. But as far as I know, it is still required reading for.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to just how great it is. Actually.
Yes. But you know, you bring up a good point. I wonder how these younger kids are actually responding to a book that takes so much time and really emotional investment to get through and to process. So yeah, it's fascinating. All right, Christina, you can go ahead and hit him with the third.
All right, Hawker. See you again.
Okay.
What is your favorite story that you've written?
Oh, okay. I'd probably have to say Fish Pie Face Fuck.
Yes!
Good times. That's a good one.
Fucking love
It's probably the one I had the most fun writing, actually.
I couldn't see why at all.
And there's a character in there who becomes recurring.
Yes, there is. Yeah. Which wasn't intentional when I started writing it. Again, it just happened to evolve in that direction. A lot of the time, I don't really know what these stories are going to be about until I'm actually in the sort of flow state of writing. But no, that one was probably, that was a lot of fun to write. And it was one where I just thought, you know, to hell with boundaries, essentially.
Yeah, fuck it.
There's not a boundary to be seen in
And
that
it was
one.
nice sort of making it a kind of meta story as well, and incorporating actual people such as the mantis man in the costume and people like Karina and Simon, obviously, as well. Yeah,
I love being able to read these books and recognizing names of people that I'm actually friends with. It's like one of the greatest joys of being part of this community. And I think, you know, the fact that you guys do that is so validating for us as a fan base, because it's a sign to us that we truly are appreciated. You know, mainstream horror authors, they've got their own thing going now. Honestly, like, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit whether I like their book or not. But you guys are out here like, thank you. Like, thanks.
Thank
it
you.
was
Here's
awesome. I know
for
it
your,
was.
you know.
Here, I'm gonna put you in my next book and I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then we're out here going, yeah.
My
yes,
favorite
it's a
thing
very
to do now.
strange relationship, isn't it?
I think both of us have actually killed Christina in our books.
That's delightful.
Yeah.
And I am jealous.
You
Well,
only
this
get
just
to
so
die
happens
75
in-
times.
It just so happens in the next one, the swine. Marian, you're in it. Matt, you're in it. and quite a lot of other people that
Excitement.
supported us.
I'm so fucking stoked. Oh my god.
It
Matt
was
Clarke,
so funny.
Matt Clarke, you have to answer the question.
What?
I don't
Which one's
remember.
your favorite?
I don't remember what it was, but you have
What-
to answer.
What is your favorite book that you have written?
Well, it's probably going to be Coffin Dodgers, to be honest, because it was my first book, and that's always going to be something special
Your
to
oldest baby. Yeah.
me.
And what a first book as well. I mean, it's such a, a really almost you wouldn't think it was a first book. I don't feel. Had
Thanks,
you not
Sean.
mentioned it, yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree
I mean-
100%.
Mhm.
I'd been writing for a year or so prior to writing that book. I wrote Beyond Human, which is like a novella, but that's horror, and I actually released after Coffin Dodgers. And if I would have released it, written it after I'd written Coffin Dodgers, it probably would have come out a lot different than it did. But I mean, the book that I had the most fun writing has to be The Second Coming, because I mean, a lot of my books, I try and have some kind of a message behind, but The Second Coming, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to write absolute ridiculous, no real message or morals, just
Mhm.
all out stupidity.
But it works, which is really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It's
we're just
thing,
going to
isn't it?
go
Yeah.
for
Popular.
full-blown sacrilege
We
here.
suspend our disbelief
Yeah,
even to that extent.
it's full on silliness over the top. It's just me trying something that I wouldn't normally write. Just experimenting a bit with it. I'm working on a new book at the moment which reels it back quite a lot. It's bizarro horror set in a single small town. But yeah, I did have fun getting silly, but it's not the book that's one of my favorites that I've written, if that makes sense.
Interesting. I'm very intrigued by whatever this new title is going to be. Is
Mhm.
this different from one that we already know is coming within like the next 8 weeks?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've been working on the last few months now. Probably about 2/3 finished at the moment, but I don't really have a name for it yet. So
Excitement.
yeah, I'm quite excited for this one.
Now,
We're excited too.
hell yeah, we are.
The second that he puts up, my book is available for pre-order, I'm like, done. Like,
It's always
like-
appreciated.
I'm kind of glad this last question is going to Matt first because Sean has already had a collaborator. But Matt, if you could co-author with anyone, who would it be?
Anyone.
Hint, hint, y'all. Matt Clarke's
Uh,
Matt Clarke's looking for a collaborator.
well, I'm going to be at some point collaborating with Kevin J. Kennedy, who's quite a big name in
nice.
English, British horror scene. Publishes a lot
Yes.
of anthologies.
Mhm.
I was recently in his Best of Indie Horror Christmas edition, which has been getting some pretty nutty reviews in so far.
Awesome.
Yeah. He wrote the foreword for my Mantis book.
Yes.
And after he read that, he reached out to me and said, would I be interested in co-authoring a Bizarro book with him some point in the future?
That's
Obviously,
amazing.
we've-
That's so cool. That's a
We've both
good
got
collab.
stuff we're working on at the moment, but
Yeah.
when
Yeah. I
we
mean-
found time,
I do recommend collaborating with another writer, even just to try it, because it is a very different experience than writing alone. And I personally prefer it because you get to bounce ideas off each other, which always helps.
yeah.
But I don't know, it's just a very, very different experience. And now that I have done it, I don't know if I'd actually be that interested going back to writing alone again. And I don't know if that's just because it's I'm writing with Simon. We're very, very much in tune with each other in terms of what and how we write. But no, I personally prefer it, and I would again, encourage anyone to try it. It might not be for everyone because they prefer sort of the solitary experience of writing. But
is there anyone other than McCarty that you would appreciate having an opportunity to test the vibe with?
Matt.
Oh,
I'm not just saying Matt.
See that happening? Oh my God.
I think we would make quite a good team, to be honest. Because
You
I read
heard it here,
Sean's,
people.
Oh my God, we got an exclusive.
heard
A
of
Mothers of
Sean's-
Mayhem exclusive.
your insane ideas in a decaying and distasteful pit.
Right.
Some of the stories in there, like is it the flags?
Flags.
And
Yes.
the fish one. I thought
Okay.
this,
Oh my
this
God,
could actually
yes!
be classed as Bizarro on its own.
Yeah.
Some of them were obviously more horror, but I
Mhm.
think we've got quite a similar sense of humour.
Yeah.
And
I
a lot of the
do.
jokes in
Absolutely.
Sean's books would definitely offend a lot of normal people. But
Oh,
I
I
was
know.
laughing.
That's
my
the
arse
goal.
off.
Yeah.
Her be
Yeah.
so good.
Oh my God, wait, are we matchmakers now?
But we do.
Well, I mean, we already look alike, so
There you go.
Imagine
You're
what our
already
kids
the
would
same
look like.
person.
Oh, beauties.
They just look like us.
Oh, no.
Um,
No.
the professor as well. He would be another one.
Oh my God. Well,
Mm.
yeah, you are a pretty big Professor fangirl, huh?
Oh, I
Sean?
am. Yes.
With
yes.
good reason.
Being
With
a
good
fan of
reason.
literary classics,
Mhm.
yeah, his stuff does appeal to me. Yeah, very much so. Plus, I just think his audio books are astounding.
Oh
like,
my
send
God.
shivers.
Yes.
It's insane. I just listened to In Blood, and I
Me
had to
too.
like immediately IM him and be like, "What the fuck, man? This was amazing."
I went straight to his Facebook page and I was like, I'm gonna let the whole world know.
And he is a lovely chap as well. So
Mhm.
we are trying to plan to meet up at some point because I don't think he lives that far from me. So.
That's amazing. Tell him
So, yeah,
if
Matt
you
and
do
the
get that
professor.
chance. Tell him that
We should all just
Marian
have a gangbang, shouldn't we?
A writing
A
gangbang.
literary gangbang.
I was gonna say at least tell him that Marian and Christina said hello.
You're in the middle of the gangbang.
Wish
Definitely
we
bring
could
us
be
up.
there.
Yeah,
Mediate
definitely
it.
bring us up.
send you a postcard.
King of you.
A picture.
Isn't
Guys,
that a
smile.
thing?
Make sure you send us the Zoom link.
Oh, we will.
And I will, my children, and we'll mute it. We'll even
Yes,
mute it.
yes.
We'll dark us out. You can't even see us.
Well, congratulations to both of you. You have successfully survived the test of the rapid fire 4
Kudos.
this
And
time. We'll have to see if you're ever willing to come back.
like no. We had
Or
a
would you be willing to have us? That's the other
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Oh,
You know what?
absolutely.
we'll just make them the extra co-hosts and like every week, every 2 weeks,
Oh, right.
yeah, like I gotta go. I have like all these like business trips and shit I have to do now. I'm like, all right, which one of you is available? Because Marian's gotta go to Florida for a week.
and then be co-hosting with this. And let me tell you, I'm usually on like Xanax or something. So I am fine. All the time. Finger guns all in my life. Sissy, you don't even need any more
Well,
of that.
we are going to start wrapping this up, but you fellows are more than welcome to chime in anytime. Thank you so much for coming and doing this with us. We really appreciate it. You were willing to be part of our first real attempt at this, and as things grow and evolve and change, as all projects like this tend to do, we will definitely need to have you come back so you can be like, wow, either you girls are way worse at this now, or hey, this is so much better than the first.
Wow, guys, you've really grown.
I think we've made history here today.
No,
I think
When people see this, they're not going to be able to get enough.
It's not necessarily, I mean, great or good history, but it's history. Your part was great.
Amazing.
Christina and I will forever be questionable.
Yeah, I mean, this is as good as it gets, guys. This is it.
Hey, it's been great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, after all,
trust me, as being fangirls.
Hell yeah! Thank you for being a friend.
I will not sing. It's for your safety.
Well, that goes both ways. We're both big fangirls of you as well.
Sean just wants a Christmas present. I'm not stupid. I'm on to you.
No, international shipping's a bitch. Sorry, we love you, but no.
Not that much.
Hey, you might find very soon that people are going to want to be reaching out to you or making contact with you after all this. What is the best way for people to get in touch with you if they have questions about where to buy books, or if they just want to, let you know they have enjoyed what they read after listening to your episode here?
Well, for me, it's just Facebook. You can contact me there, or they can buy my stuff at Godless or Amazon, or if they're in the close proximity, which is Gloucestershire, England, they can just roll up and buy books out of the boot of my car.
Oh, fantastic. I'm jealous.
I'm talking particularly about the smuts that I write, because that isn't going to be sold in very many places.
Sean sells back alley smut. So if you are in the Gloucestershire region of the UK, do not miss this opportunity.
I can just I don't know. I can see
fuckers.
The books are in the back of the car, and ladies are like, I don't think so.
Get in. Yeah.
I don't think so, sir.
Which is parked in the shed behind the house. What about you, Matthew A. Clarke? Where can people find you?
Yeah, same as Sean. Just look me up on Facebook. Same name as this, my real name. Yeah, I've got an author page on there as well. If you want to check out the other stuff I've written, it's all there. Shoot me a message.
Fantastic.
I'm going to tell you to piss off, or you're welcome.
He told me to piss off, and I kept coming back with like herpes. So
and
I'm not going away.
For a full list of Sean and Matt's bibliographies, you can come join us on the Mothers of Mayhem official Facebook group. You are also now obligated to follow both Christina and myself on our various social media platforms. You can find the links to those in our show bio. Also, if you are interested in seeing more reviews of specific titles from both of these authors, of course, hit my TikTok, TF Did I Just Read, with all the underscores in between it. I have reviewed so many of these fellas' books, and they're all fucking brilliant. And as always, you can send your questions, comments, or insults, of which I'm sure there will be many, to our email address, m.o.m.extremepodcast@gmail.com. Mama C.
Yes, ma'am.
Who do we have coming next time?
Oh, we have the one and only Nick Robinson.
Oh, tell them more about Nicholas Robinson.
Nick will be here, and we will be talking about, oh my goodness, which one did I just read last night? Have You Seen Me? Of course, I'm drawing a blank right now.
You got Horseplay.
Oh my God,
yes.
Horseplay, which is
Thank
also
you.
included in caution, may cause extreme ocular bleeding. Horseplay really was like a defining title for this guy, and it's intense. It's on that Sean Hawker level.
It is. And what's so funny is I was reading that as I was driving from San Antonio, Texas to Seattle. And I can remember I was in like the middle of Colorado and I'm reading this book and I'm like, oh my heavens, this is new. This is interesting, hip and happening, you know? And that's how I got started with
Interesting,
May.
hip, and happening are a very fascinating word choices for that story.
I always have fascinating word
My
choices.
brain was like, how do I put this in a way? Do you fellas have any final words to share with your listeners?
Oh, your upcoming anything?
Oh
upcoming?
yeah, what do you have coming up when?
Go first.
Yeah, okay. For me, we've got Simon and I have a short story that's going to be published in an anthology, which I can't say too much about, only that it's due December, and it's very different to everything that we've done before, as Christina can attest to. I believe you read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did too.
Okay. Then you know what I'm talking about then.
Oh, it's amazing.
Very different.
Yes.
Oh,
and
it's
Evan-
amazing.
So that's this month, and April will be the swine, and then I think the latter part of 2022 there will be Gob and Knob Part 2.
You shut the front door.
Excitement.
Oh my god.
That was actually my first read by McCarty, and absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see what else you guys can come up with.
And that was
Up
my
that one.
first McCarty Hawker collaboration too. And
Well, I'll
was
be there
just like,
stoking the fire of bad taste to make sure that it exceeds the first part in terms of depravity. That's generally my job with regards to our collaboration. I'm there just prodding Simon along and saying, you know, got to make this even more gnarly.
yes.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, so on the 18th of this month, I have this book.
I pre-ordered it
I
like
did too.
such a long time
Yes.
ago. I'm dying.
This is essentially the second coming, but kind of edited into the book, and you get special pictures with it.
Wow.
Excitement.
I'm looking forward
Look
to
at that.
reading that again from start to finish.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, all in one book.
Yeah.
Nice big
And
book.
what a book. Yeah.
And then on the 28th of this month, I have Those That Remain, which is a horror. I guess you'd call it a novella. It's 40,000 words, whatever that is. But that's like part 2 to Beyond Human that came out earlier this year.
So now we have to put that
so
one
that's
back
good.
on our lists again to reread.
Yeah. That's just horror.
Mhm.
And then I also want to plug this, which has just come out.
I pre-ordered that one too.
I got it too.
BIZARRO fiction anthology.
Yes.
Super cheap. I think in the UK it's like £4,
Mhm.
and all proceeds goes to the World Reader charity.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
fantastic.
It's a really cool.
That's so
little
cool.
BIZARRO book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Christina and I have been super excited for that for a long time.
Yeah,
When I
it's-
say I
it's really
pre-order everything, I don't think you understand. I pre-order everything.
good.
I'm just like,
I'll bear that in mind. I'm going to make up a load of
I-
fake books and send you the links.
you should be like, stupid bitch.
I don't pre-order everything. So if you know that if I'm like, I pre-ordered that,
Mhm.
you know where my heart lies.
Yeah. Her favorites are known.
But like Hawker, I don't think I've ever seen pre-order posts from you. Do you usually?
No.
Oh well, you need to start doing that because you're definitely in my list of instant buys. And if I get a
Uh-huh.
chance to pre-order, we
I
need to
don't even have an
know.
author's page on Facebook. I really am
You
crap at that sort of thing. I just can't be fucked, to be honest.
I have too many things to do.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
work. And like with
It is a
the
lot of work, you
algorithms,
know, and I'm
like,
just far too lazy. That's why I like
Yeah.
writing books. I mean, I could do that from the comfort of my own bed, you know. Don't even have to leave the house.
Oh, especially as we're all working full-time jobs as well.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Trying to promote
yeah.
and finding time to read and write. It's just,
So unless I can get some sort of slave to do it for me, and I'm looking at you, Christina.
I was about to say, I don't know what this job is. This is a very odd word for me because I just stay at home and suck on the government tit. So
yeah.
And
Well, it's not
it-
a paying job, it's more a voluntary post.
as long as you're okay with like a Xanaxed up diet Dr. Pepper drinking lady, I'm your gal.
Well, it's better what I got currently, which is nothing.
I don't think you understand.
That.
I could honestly make it go negative. Like,
oh, wow. Well, that would be interesting.
You don't believe a word she says. This really takes us back to the conversation we had about this community. For you guys writing within this genre, you have become exceptionally good at creating friendly relationships with your reviewers and those of us who are considered social media influencers, because we are begging you to let us do that work for you. So as long as you're remaining in communication with us and we're all maintaining these friendships, these happy relationships with one another, we will forever be like, hey, what do you have? Send it to me. My list is long, but I will get to it. I will make a TikTok about it. I will put this on Instagram. I will talk this up on Facebook, and you can be guaranteed we're going to do it.
Well, that's the great thing about this community.
From other writers who were like, I'm sending you everything I got because you reviewed my last book and my sales went up. And that was enough for me. I was like, well, just everybody needs to let me know where I can get their stuff. Because if I can do this
promotional marketing in indie horror. So you guys are really the superstars. We just write this shit, but then, it goes out and then everyone else, they're the ones that promote it. And
it's a grassroots
tell people
movement.
to read it.
Yeah, especially like I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Karina.
Yes.
Karina's like Donna Latham, like they're like high up there. Even Nick Robinson, he does Meltdown Messiah or Messiah Meltdown.
Yeah.
And he's really big about it too. He's really big.
I mean, I just wouldn't have the inclination to push out my work, with the same amount of passion and effort that everyone else seems to do, so I'm very grateful for that.
I just do it so I can say Sean and Matt are friends. Like we're cool.
Yeah, we are.
Well, and I hope it's very validating to you all at how much we all love what you do and how much energy from our own lives we are willing to put into this to share that with other people who may be wanting it but don't know that it exists. So I can't think of many mainstream horror authors who would have fans quite as rabid on the grassroots level.
It doesn't go unnoticed either. It's massively appreciated, everything you guys do.
Thank you.
We just love you all so much. Oh, and you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Again, we really, really appreciate it. Christina, we're going to let these guys go because it is really late where they are.
Allegedly, they need sleep because they have jobs. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know what this is. I'm going to go read or something.
Until next time. Go raise some hell, children.
Make your weird book mommies proud.
We love you, bye!
Life is a joke, and death is the punchline. Oh, la, 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 la.